What up, Earthlings? Zube
Hello,
here.
Melanie. Hello, hello.
We're gonna have our Earthlings chat. I'm gonna set a timer for 20 minutes because I always go way over on these things. And if we go over, oh well, but I'm gonna try not to. I swear we're interesting enough to listen to for 20 minutes. But anyway, okay, so really weird. We're gonna go with divine timing because I did my daily horoscope and was kind of not exactly talking about divine timing, but then I pulled a card which fit perfectly with what I was saying, and the card was divine timing. And then I talked to Melanie a few minutes ago, and she was like, "What should we talk about? Maybe divine timing." And I was like, "Really? Did you just watch my video?" She didn't.
Nope, I didn't.
So apparently, it's time for talking about divine timing.
Yes, I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. Do we want to pull a card or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? I'll let you go.
Okay. This is my Angels and Ancestors deck. So
Okay.
it's quite a Native American flair to it. So
Wait.
all right. What popped out is Guardian Angel. You are not alone.
I love
And
that.
yes.
I love that. And it's
Got
a fucking feather.
Good old feather.
Of course it's a feather. You're not alone.
No?
And divine timing is, I mean, brought to us by our guides and angels and guardian angel.
Higher power, absolutely. We were talking about this the other day, and you had said, if you had known what the road was going to look like 3.5 years ago now, can you even believe it's been that long? And if you'd have known what the road was going to look like, you may not have been able to stay the course. And it's so interesting how that works because, things are revealed to us as we're able to handle it. And there have definitely been some peeling back layers of the onion on my side that kind of say the same thing. It's like, dude, there's no way. There's no way. If I'd have known going into like every little part of my recovery what was coming. Whew. So thank you for
kidding.
Oh my goodness. It's like, eek.
I mean, if it, like, okay, I thought, and I saw in rehab, I saw kids visiting their moms. You know what I mean? And so I was like, all right, this is going to be hard, but it's not going to be impossible. I'm still not saying it's impossible. Nothing is impossible, but I really, really naively thought I hadn't really gotten into trouble. I hadn't gotten into trouble. I asked to get help. So it's not going to be like easy peasy, but at the same time, if I'd have known that 3.5 years later, I would still barely see my kids, I'd have been drunk, like out the door. I would have given up. I mean, I don't think I ever would have even gotten sober.
Yes. I didn't ever, as far as my expectations around my son go, I never really had that high of expectations with him, but our situation is different. And so, I mean, now I'm grateful. Speaking of kids, I just went out to Arizona and got to spend some time with him. And we were going to just meet one day, and Jennifer, his adoptive mom, so graciously was like, well, why don't you just come pick him up and you guys can have some one-on-one time? And of course, I was like over the moon, at the same time totally nervous because I've never spent one-on-one time with my son. It's never just been me. And so I'm totally nervous, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so awesome and so weird and so great. And then the morning came that I was supposed to go pick him up. I was going to pick him up from his occupational therapy. And she texts me and she goes, please don't take this personally, but Xavier is nervous. So maybe we can all go to lunch together. And then you guys can go from there. And I said, that's okay, because I'm nervous too.
Oh my God. I don't know if I realized that you sent me a picture, and now that I think about it, the way that you worded your text, I probably could have like gotten from that it was just you guys, but I didn't take in the gravity of that. That's so fucking cool.
Isn't that cool? And then so we went to lunch together all as a group, Jennifer and his siblings and me. And Xavier and I sat by each other. And by the end of it, he was ready to go. He wanted to go, just the two of us. So we went and we did 2 parks. He was super excited to tell his siblings about that. And then his mom said that I could take him for a treat through a drive-through. So I did. And he got a little slushy and we just had a great time.
God. Melanie, I have like chills all over that. Like my heart's like
It's so cool. It was really, really cool. And so in some ways it's like divine timing. Divine timing doesn't always necessarily for me mean things that I like am going to have trouble with. Not that it doesn't, because divine timing also delivers lessons and intricacies that, are challenging, but at the same time, there's always a reward there too. It's the balance,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's really
I'm lost in your smile. Sorry. you're just like glowing talking about it.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Oh, and can I grab something? I want to show you a picture.
Yeah.
I just got this picture. I had
Oh my God, yeah.
Hold on a second.
For
it. My mom gave me these when I was leaving, and I've never seen this picture. Can I figure out?
Yeah. Oh. Oh my God.
My little man. So that's us.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. You look so different.
I do. Yes, I definitely.
I mean, that was how many years ago though?
This was 7 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, you just keep getting younger. It's weird.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and take that. Yep.
Yep.
Here's another one more. I just want to
Oh
show
my
one more.
God, what a little squirt. He's chunky. I love chunky babies.
He was such a chunk.
Believe it or not, both of my kids were super chunks. Like,
yes,
major.
dude, I wish my mom and I used to joke about that, where like it's the one time in your life where like, fat rolls and stuff are cute. Like,
yeah.
Like, I wish it was like that for me now, like adults, ooh, look, she's chunky. Isn't that precious?
So cute. You are beyond precious. That's funny. No, I mean, and you're right. Like divine timing is not always about negative things. And that's, like, but something that you may have waited for or something like that turns out even more differently than you imagined it could. And in some ways better, like, I don't know. I mean, divine timing. We'll talk about when I moved to Texas, that there is nothing that is crazier. Well, a lot of crazy shit has happened in my life. And our timer just said 11:11, right when I said crazier. Anyway, then my move to Texas. I mean, I literally I remember being in my car and I was driving and I hadn't been able to get in touch with the kids for weeks. Like they weren't answering their phone, it was turned off or whatever. And I'd messaged anyway, their dad, and I wasn't hearing back. And so I was driving and I had just gone to visit with you and Katie and Maddie. It was at Maddie's house. And I was like, upset about it. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't been able to get a hold of them. And they live in Texas now and all that. And so in the meantime, I was looking for another place to live. It was just all, and and I had been writing in my journal about finding a place to live and all that. And I was looking in Mississippi. I mean, I just didn't have the money to move, which is a real thing, but at the same time, whatever. And so, and I was planning a trip out to see them. And I was like, I don't know if I have enough money to get back. But anyway, I was driving home from Maddie's house and I was bawling. And I just like, you know how when you really let go, like sometimes you let go and you're like,
You
you
got
know,
like one finger holding on to it.
yeah, totally. Or you're at least like watching it, right? Like you put it
Yeah.
down and you walk around the corner and you're like, are you gonna pick that up? No.
Yeah.
But I felt it in my body and I totally let go and I bawled and bawled. And I was like driving home and I was like, that's it. I give up. If I don't know what this was all about until I'm dead, I give up. Is that your dog? Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And like through tears, I looked up at the car in front of me and the license plate, I can't remember exactly what it was it was like some variation of how about now? And I was like, I
Wow.
like, I was like, what? I mean, it was like I had given up and instantly. And then the thought came like, just move to Texas. You can afford to get there.
Yep.
Because my
Yeah.
whole concern was, I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford to get there and back. That was literally my whole concern. I'm like, you know, and so, and then it just went from there. But like that was instantaneous divine timing. But you can't will yourself into letting
No,
it go.
no,
That's
absolutely. No, I agree. And it's letting go of things, surrendering things is definitely a practice. It's not something that comes naturally to me. It's, over time, over the last 3.5 years or so, I have gotten much better at it, but I still, I'll let something go and I'll pick it back up. I'll let something go and I'll pick it back up and then I'll pick it back up. And, and it's like,
yep.
When we're finally able to let go, it's like an audible, it's almost like a click. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like,
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and you're right. It's like a process. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. So it's a valuable exercise to put it down, even if you are peeking around the corner at it, because the more you put it down and and sometimes I pick it back up and I don't even realize I'm holding it. I'm like, oh my God, here it is again. Wait.
Yep.
I told you to go over here.
Yes, exactly. I'm surrendering you. Did you not hear me?
Yeah.
Why do you keep ending up in my lap again?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and so that brings me to one of my favorite phrases from AA, which is you be willing to be willing. So if you are willing to be willing to put it down. So even if you're not willing at the moment, you're willing to be willing, like you're willing to surrender it.
Yes.
And that,
yeah.
And so that makes it like easier to not, because so I would get really pissed at myself too. I would be like, not only did I not put this down, I'm wrestling with it, telling everybody how I let it go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could be like lecturing somebody else about putting something down. In the meantime, I'm wrestling what I thought I put down like a month ago.
Yes, exactly. Yep, it does. It can come as a surprise. There is no doubt about that. Yeah, surrender is it's a gift, and it's one of the hardest things sometimes for me to do. I'll tell you, one of the scariest prayers that I learned in AA was, higher power, please remove anything from my life that is keeping me sick. And that is so open-ended. And so, but it's scary because some of the things that we want to keep in our lives, you know what I mean? Keep us sick.
Yep.
So it's a scary prayer. I mean, that's the ultimate surrender of like, okay, anything that doesn't fit my highest good, I'm willing to give up. That's hard.
Well,
Hard to do.
it is. And it's like, I'm always very mindful of what I pray for, because some, like pray for strength, or pray for, it's kind of the be careful what you wish for, but in all seriousness, like really be careful what you wish for, because
Sorry,
that
my
may
dog.
come. Oh no, that's okay. It could come as a hard lesson. It could come as, you know what I mean? Or like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example, and it's kind of escaping me right now. I can't think of anything, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to come up with anything off the top of my head too, right at this moment. But
yeah.
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 everything is meant to shape us. So if I'm doing something right now, or there's something in my life that, is a little less than ideal, then it's there for a reason. It's
Yeah.
teaching me, so.
I was thinking about this. All of the obstacles, if I everything that happens in my life, here's the thing. Spiritually, this aligns with what I feel like is the truth, but also it just makes good practical sense. I assume that whatever is happening in my life on a soul level, I chose it. So like, when I allow myself to have a temper tantrum, um but then I'm like, okay, why the fuck would I choose this shitty thing? And then you can be empowered about it, right? Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like, rather than being like, why does horrible stuff always happen to me, or why does horrible stuff always happen in general? Like, okay, what can I learn from this? Am I dead? If you are, whoa, what was I thinking? Going down there, not going there again. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
yes, you are. And if I'm not dead, okay, then what can I learn from this? Or what can I move forward? And then, anyway.
What's the lesson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's the lesson?
Mhm. We get asked that about everything in our life, it's crazy. And yeah, I mean, I definitely had an idea of what my life was going to look like when I first made the commitment to grow and change and all of that. And it looks nothing like I expected it to. In some ways, it's better than what I envisioned, and in other ways, it's not as good. So it's like, it's the divine timing, and then just going down the spiritual path and being willing to be willing, whatever that means.
Yeah. My God, AA is so good for like things that just quick snippets of, like, because I was just gonna say, one of the things I do have a hard time with is my ego will be like, well, what the hell? There, someone else is winning, and like that means I'm losing, right?
Mhm.
And it's not fair, it's not fair. And again, keep your side of the street clean, and that's literally all I have control over.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm allowed to fuss about things, because I'm a fucking human being, but not getting stuck in that, just not getting stuck in that in your heart, like, just because you can't
Yeah.
control other people. I mean,
Mm-mm. One of the people that's way years ahead of me on this journey once said to me, I learned a long time ago not to base what I do off of what the people in my life do. So that's that keeping your side of the street clean. Even if somebody is doing something that you feel is like you have reason to have anger and it's justifiable to be angry, it's like the best thing you can do, or I can do, or anybody can do, is be the best version of yourself.
yeah.
And that way, when you go to bed at night, you don't have anything to feel bad about. And then you can trust your higher power that whatever happens is it's going to happen,
Yeah.
and it's going to do something good for you, even if it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I have a gut check now. It used to be And I think this would have even been the case if I hadn't been drinking, like if alcohol wasn't my drug of choice, you know, but before I like did shadow work, the catchphrase or whatever. How does that happen so fast? Anyway, you know, but because I'm pretty intimately familiar with my shadow, I'm aware of my downfalls, of my imperfections, you know, and I do my best not to project onto other people or whatever, but I have a gut check. Like there used to be a time where if I got a text or something like I need to talk to you later, I'd be like, no, I need to know what is it? You know what I mean? Because there was that like there's that, oh my God. And now I literally go like this. I go, oh, they could tell me how awesome I am later. And like, and I mean, you know, because I go, oh, nope, I don't feel anything. You know what I mean? And even if I get a critique or something, or somebody's critical or whatever, if there's truth in it, then okay. And then do I want to change that truth or not? And sometimes I don't, you know what I mean? Sometimes something about me might bother somebody, and that's all right. We don't have to be in each other's experience. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
Right.
I consciously choose to be in people's lives, right? And if they don't like how I'm in it, then we don't, then okay.
Yep.
And I always go, I lost my kids. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, I love people. I do. But, you know,
Yeah. Well, I
well,
mean, you're a pro. Yeah. Like
yeah,
why would any of that bother you? Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
I get.
And
Mhm.
then it kind of like, I think it frees people up to be who they want to be around me because they know I really want to be with them when I'm with them,
Yeah.
not
Yep.
like out of it. And they're free to be who they are. And, you know, it's like I don't have any expectations of like what I expect of you. Like, I don't know.
No, I love that we all get to find ourselves, and then in finding ourselves and showing who we are to each other, we get to find our tribe.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. There are going to be people who don't like me for whatever reason, and it's none of my business what they think.
Right.
And the people that I value are the people who like love my freak flag when it flies. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, then there's real power in that. That's a freeing feeling for someone like me. So
It no, it definitely is. And I don't mean to say like I'm like, well, like the, you know, the picture of perfection with it. Like I might have like a ooh, you know, but ultimately I'm able to come around where I'm like, okay, like I can see that about myself and that's who I want to be. I don't, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm yeah, yeah. It's like it might take a minute. I'm not like the awesome sauce evolved completed project yet.
right, right. No, I hear. Yes,
Yeah.
it does. It depends on the person. It depends on where they fall and how important it is to me that we have a relationship. It
Right.
depends on the but what I don't do anymore, what I used to do was if somebody who doesn't know me makes a judgment, I would take it on, you know,
Yes.
because all. And I would take it on like oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? And it's like, no, that's not about me at all. They don't know me. How could
They
it
don't know
be?
me. Yeah. Now I try it on and I see if it fits,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yep.
know, and if it
Yep.
fits, I'm like, do I like wearing this? And if sometimes I do, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I do. I feel good about wearing that. Other times I'm like, maybe I should take this to the thrift store. So like,
Give it.
totally beat the shit out of a dead horse or a metaphor or whatever. All right, I'm gonna pick a card. This is my Archangel Michael deck. Let's see. So I got truth and love begets truth and love until it builds and surrounds you. And when you have created a surplus, you transmit it out into the world around you. Holy shit.
I love that. I
That's
love it.
that's orange, the orange chakra. They're based on the chakras. What is that? Sacral? Yeah. Sacral.
It's sacral. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Sacral.
A
Creativity.
sacral.
How do you say that?
I think it's sacral, but I'm not 100% on that. So don't ask me. I don't.
Okay. That reminds me, like with I was watching this astrologer the other day, and he's super dry, right? But so when he drops a joke, it's hilarious because I love, like, because he's like really dry. Anyway, he was saying how when he first started learning astrology, like a decade or whatever ago, he's younger than us, but he said, when you learn all of this stuff online by yourself, you don't know how to pronounce things. And he realized he was like pronouncing some term in astrology the wrong way in his head for like a few years. Anyway, that just reminded me.
Love it.
Sacral, sacral,
Who knows? Whatever you call it is
whatever. Anyway, this was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, have a great day on Earth, everyone.
Yes.
Peace and namaste.